Hey, family. I'm Coach Cass. Welcome to the Hub. On today's show, we have Sierra's in the house. Woo! From ATL, repping Delta Sigma Theta. So excited to have you, Sierra. How you
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Girl, so let's get right to it. Tell us a little bit about your love journey. What has happened in your love journey? Tell us a little something.
Oh, Lord. So for me, what I find is the difficulty of finding an individual who understands, I guess, the female who is like super ambitious, has a lot going for herself. I know for me, oftentimes when I'm dating, especially during this season of my life, I've had guys who say, well, do you even have time for me? And my mindset is like, if I am being intentional about making time for you, then that should be enough, right? I think going into dating, letting the individual know, like, these are my goals. This is what I want to pursue. Like, the ultimate goal is marriage and building a firm foundation and joining together as a partnership and generational wealth and all these things. And so a lot of the guys, they're not intimidated, but like when they see all of the things that I'm doing, it's just like, well, do you even have time for me? As of right now in the city of Atlanta, I operate as a licensed associate professional counselor. I'm also a national certified counselor. This weekend, at the time of this recording, I'm getting ready to launch a conference, a free digital conference that has pretty much taken up a lot of my time. And I really want to have a partner who is considered a partner, somebody that I can talk to on a regular basis or let my vulnerability show, let it be known that like, hey, yes, I'm a boss, but I still want to cuddle. I still want to have a good time.
Bosses like cuddling too.
Bosses like cuddling too, and having quality conversation and going on walks and just being a regular human being. I think oftentimes, especially with this space and especially during this time of like racial profiling and like racial injustices, like, but I think women of color, we always have to be mindful of how we show up. And I think in the area of dating, I don't want to worry about how I show up. I just want to be my authentic self.
Yes. Ooh, all of that. For everybody watching and listening, I need you all to snap right now. Just snap. That was poetic, girl. Okay, so the plight of the ambitious woman. I get you. I hear you. I literally just had this conversation. So I have a network of professional women that I support along their love journey. And in our last live love session, essentially one of our members just spoke about, she's busy all the time and she's been seeing this guy, but she feels like he's not really stepping it up, And I asked her specifically, well, in other areas of his life, is he a take action kind of person? And she said, yes. I said, okay, well, then that's something to think about, right? Because if this person is not a take action type of person in other areas, you can't expect him to do nothing with you, right? So now, okay, so he's a take action kind of person. She's like, but I see that he's laid back with me. Like he kind of watches my moves because he knows I'm busy. So my pushback to her and to you is, okay, when you present yourself, do you present yourself as busy? Meaning, well, I got this, and you're kind of showing off or laying out all the things you have going on. So then now it's for the guy to figure out where he fits in. Or are you saying, hey, I can have a full schedule, but I'd love to spend more time with you, So what are some days and times that might be good for you? And let's see if we can make it happen. There's just two different ways to doing things. I remember specifically speaking to a woman who's married, okay, multimillionaire who's married. And I remember her telling me that when her husband came home from work, he would spend all of his time with their 2-year-old daughter and no time with her. And the last time she heard "You're beautiful" was on their wedding day.
Oh, wow.
And that, at one point she told him, you know what, you don't have to work. You know, I can make all the money, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
he's an ER nurse. He's like, no, I still need something to have me feel like a man, right?
Right.
And there's something to that. As ambitious women, sometimes we tote all the things that we have going on and what we can offer, that we forget that men still need to feel like men. They need to feel needed, they need to feel respected, and they also need to feel heard, just like you. So, one thing I know for a fact, just like you said, boss women need to cuddle too, right? So, I'll tell you that it's hard for them to know that if you don't show them that,
Definitely. Yeah.
right? So that's not going to happen by osmosis. So it's really starting to think about, okay, how have I shown up in these dating scenarios? Where does the conversation normally go? Does it usually rotate around my work? Does it usually rotate around my accomplishments? Or does it rotate around who Sierra is?
And that's exactly the stance that I take. The conversations are who Sierra is, because
Okay.
I'm too busy like showing who I am to the rest of the world. I just
Yeah.
want my homeboy. Like I want my partner to be my homeboy. That's what I was saying. Like I'm showing up my authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
When I come home, I really don't want to talk about work. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to talk about any clients or anything like that, or issues at the job. Like I want to be able to find my safe space
Yeah.
in you. I think a huge part of it, especially being as a Christian woman, understanding that like marriage or just relationships are two whole people coming together,
Yes.
and recognizing like my identity is my identity, yours is yours, and we're going to enjoy this journey alongside one another.
Mm-hmm.
And so that for me, that's exactly what you said. That's where I'm at. I really do not like waving this banner of superwoman. I've learned a long time ago, trying to be superwoman does not help. Trying to take away from my partner or belittle them or like stun on them or always showing my business card, that does not work.
Right.
I still love like the feminine parts of just being a woman in a relationship. So.
Right. Right. So I definitely get that it can be annoying. So as a Christian woman now, right? So in terms of dating as a Christian woman, how is that going for you?
That has been very new, because I really don't know what space to navigate in, right? Like I take the whole stance of being somebody's Ruth to Boaz,
Mm-hmm.
just showing up, putting in work and hoping that a person notices me, or
Mm-hmm.
do I shoot my shot and let it be known that, hey, I'm here. So just trying to figure out what stance to take. And then
Mm-hmm.
just kind of, I think this is because even though I practice as a therapist, I also go to therapy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And one
Every
topic that,
therapist needs a therapist.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I was talking to my therapist about is just getting comfortable with all the different aspects of myself and being
Mm-hmm.
able to understand that I can live in the this and that instead of
Mm-hmm.
feeling like I have to compartmentalize myself in different areas. And so,
Yeah.
like, even though I am a firm believer of Jesus, I still listen to trap music. I still, I still do yoga. I still
Jesus
like,
Christ.
yes, Jesus and trap. Okay. Like I still have like a good time.
Yeah.
And so there was this video of this, I guess this YouTuber, he posed this question, are you sure you're really ready for a man of God? And I was just like,
Mm.
wow, the weight that comes with that, because we all understand that we all carry our own individual glories and manifestations and callings based upon God. But am I truly ready for the mandate on my partner's life? And so that's something that
Mm-hmm.
I've had to walk through or even work through or kind of prepare myself for, because I think a lot of people always focus on like the Proverbs 31 woman.
He is ambitious. You want ambitious. Hallelujah.
Right. We always focus on the Proverbs 31 woman, but it's more than just like learning to cook and make sure that you have the home together and being a good wife and being a good mother. But I also think it's just like being able to be a great partner. Are you going to be able to support him the same way that I want support with my dreams and aspirations? Will I be able to provide that same level of support to him and mentally, emotionally, spiritually? Will I be able to cover him through prayer? Will I be able to like have his back, when he has to like move forward with whatever decision he has to make for our family. So that's just my perspective as a Christian woman in dating, and just trying to like have those conversations with guys within the faith area, because I noticed that a lot of guys, I guess they tread lightly, because like the church space is very small, so if they approach one person, it kind of looks as though they're hopping from one woman to one woman. So I feel like that's the reason why they're not trying to, let it be known that if a person is interested or whatever, but it's kind of hard to navigate, just to answer your question.
Okay, so I'll share a piece of my story as encouragement, right? So I met my husband, I want to say in 2004. That's as far back as we can remember. At a conference with 15,000 people. We were both in network marketing. And out of the 15,000 people, there was a glow around me. This is my story. So there was a glow around me, and he had to just touch the hem of my skirt and get my phone number, right?
Yes.
So we were in California, and it turns out we were both from South Florida. So when we get back, he wanted to come visit me. And when he was driving to my house, 15 minutes passed, 20 minutes passed, 30 minutes passed, an hour. He's like, whoa, you live too far. And so we decided that, there was nothing that was going to happen, because one, he lived far, and he was in an on and off relationship, and he had a big dog, right? I was in a big dog. Anyway, so we decided to stay as acquaintances. So I see him every now and then out and about. When I'd go out, I'd see him. And we re-met towards the end of 2011. Yeah, 2011, I think, one of those years. And at a friend's barbecue, right? So just in terms of where you find people, at a friend's barbecue, we re-met and reconnected, and we challenged each other on the we. And, you could see this on my Instagram if you want to see the silliness. I just posted it not too long ago. And we challenged each other on the we, and I won no matter what the dance moves look like. And we kept in contact after that. And we talk like maybe once a week, and, just talking about life and ambitions and what we want. And I remember one day he said, well, iron sharpens iron. How about we meet up, and like talk in person? Maybe we'll do this once a month. And that meetup became our first date, right? And along the journey, I had already decided to be abstinent, because I realized that, the people I had slept with before, they didn't deserve it. Like, this didn't work out. I was like, no more of this, right? Help me, Jesus. So, but it turns out, I remember hanging out with some of his friends one time, and they said, how are you doing? I said, what do you mean, how are you doing? They said, well, we know he's abstinent. How are you holding up? Right. And it was just so cool to meet someone who was already on the same plane as me. So then we had the same vision in mind, so I just want that to be as an encouragement to you, that there are millions of men out there that believe in God and live according to his principles. Because at the same time, in this dating process, I just want you to think about, what type of man do you want to lead your household? And if you're a Christian, what type of man, like literally, who do they turn to when in trouble? Who do they turn to when not well? Who do they turn to when they're frustrated? Do they turn to God, or do they turn to liquor? Do they turn to God, or do they turn to their mama? Do they turn to God, or do they turn to a friend? Like, who do they turn to? And just taking a look at that, because sometimes we forget about that part of the process. Like, oh, he's good to me. He prays sometimes, it's cool. But then when we're talking about the big scope of things, because life is always going to throw some twists and turns, like a pandemic, murder hornets, African dust in the air, whatever. Somebody told me the other day, flying snakes, so whatever could be going on in the world, time of Moses with plagues and stuff. So you just never know. How does this person rise to the occasion, or do they sink into quicksand? So that's just something for you to think about as you meet people, as a Christian woman, selecting your Christian man.
Thank you so much for that encouragement, because I know for me, every time there was this challenge called like Pray for Your Future Spouse. And I had engaged in it, and I still continue to do it like periodically. Like, one thing that I've always prayed for is like, God, let him have a heart like David, because ultimately if his heart is turned to you and committed to you, then he'll know how to love me and how to lead our family. So thank you for that confirmation.
You're welcome. Awesome. I appreciate you, Sierra. So is there anything else you have a question on before I let you go?
Oh, I guess the only other question would be how to be truthful and honest, or how to start those conversations about like health, right? So when we talk about love and relationships, and I think oftentimes we forget about the finances piece, we forget about like those long-term plans, but we also forget about like health related matters. And
Mhm.
so how do you bring up the conversation of like, what will life be like if I happen to be infertile? Or what will
Mhm.
life be like if I needed to have some major surgery, or whatever the case may be? I know we have that saying, till death do us part, like sickness and health, but
Mhm.
we forget that clause in sickness and health.
Right. Okay. So that made me specifically think of a client that I've had that had multiple sclerosis, which is a degenerative disease that will end in, her being bedridden,
Mm-hmm.
and several other health complications. And she got engaged during quarantine.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And she met her man on Hinge. Okay. Because I know I always get that question. And where'd she meet him? Oh, she met him on Hinge. And so, just something to think about is that God has someone for everyone. And when you believe that, um, it'll be okay. Like one of the closest people to me, she ended up with herpes, as a result of her the first person she was with. She's
Mm-hmm.
married and happy and healthy, and her husband doesn't have herpes, but he accepted her for who she was. So, in terms of timing, you can always share, as kids, something that you want, and that's a open conversation. And do the kids have to be biologically yours, or are you open to adoption?
Yeah.
you know and just having very simple conversations like that, knowing, yes, you have your own fears, but as you get to know someone and you connect and you click and you spend time together, you will know the right time to share. But understand that nothing is guaranteed, right? I have a friend that was pregnant and was told to abort her pregnancy because her child had a hole in her heart. Everybody prayed over this belly, this child, this everything. This child is now turning 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are some delays, but that child is just fine. You know what I mean? So, you can't read into the prescription or the diagnosis of the doctor sometimes, because sometimes they can't predict the future.
Yeah.
So is the person open to adopting if children are not biologically able to happen? That's a big question, because some people are like, oh, well, I only want my own biological child. Well, okay, well, there's no guarantee over here.
Right.
There's just no guarantee, right? And in terms of surgery and things, yes, that is sickness and in health. So then as you go through life, just see, how are they a caretaker? Are they a nurturer? And you share those things. So it doesn't have to be on the first date, because it's just getting to know someone. So have fun in dating, but if you see that there's a viable candidate of someone that you truly are feeling, then I would say, slowly but surely, just bring up different aspects of whatever it is that's going on with you.
Cool. Thank you for that.
God's got you, girl.
Thank you. I love it.
You're welcome. So I know at the time of this recording, you are single. So how about you share how people can get in touch with you, just in case?
Yes, definitely. If you want to holla at your girl, feel free to shoot me a DM on Legacy SPKS on everything. That's on Instagram, Facebook. You can also look at my website at legacyspks.com.
Mhm.
But I respond faster via DM on Instagram at Legacy SPKS.
Nice. I love it. Thanks for joining us, Sierra. I totally appreciate you.
You do.
And to everyone that watched or listened, I hope you got something from today that, yes, you can authentically be yourself, and everything is in God's timing. So this is just an encouragement to you that someone is looking for you. Now it's just the question, can you be found? I'm just saying. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Inspire Many. Love you guys so much. See you on the next episode. Bye.